Every parent reaches a moment when their relationship with their grown children shifts. For years, you've dedicated yourself to raising them, nurturing their dreams, guiding their choices, and sacrificing your own needs to ensure their happiness. You've been their rock, their provider, their guide. But one day you notice a change. Perhaps they ignore your advice, dismiss your opinions as outdated, or speak to you in a way that feels condescending or hurtful. Some may even make you feel like a burden, as if your presence is an inconvenience. This shift can be painful, stirring frustration, anger, or desire to remind them of all you've done, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the love. But here's the truth: reacting with anger or demands rarely works. It often widens the gap, leaving you more disconnected. There's a better way to reclaim the respect you deserve, one that avoids arguments, resentment, or emotional outbursts. In this guide, I'll share 6 practical steps to help you regain your children's respect. These are simple, actionable changes in how you carry yourself, respond, and live your life. Some may challenge your instincts, but if you stay until the end, you'll discover how to restore your place as a valued figure in their lives. Let's begin. Step 1. Stop seeking their approval. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is trying too hard to please their adult children. You might rearrange your schedule to fit theirs, say yes when you want to say no, or prioritize their needs over yours, hoping they'll appreciate you more. You might think, if I do enough, they'll see my love and respect me. But the reality is, chasing their approval often leads to less respect. Respect is built on self-respect, not constant sacrifice. When you always put their needs first, you signal that your own feelings and time are less important. Over time, they may take you for granted, assuming you'll always give in no matter how they treat you. Take Margaret, a woman in her late 60s who was once fiercely independent. She raised her children while managing a demanding job, balancing both with confidence. But as her children became adults, she began to change. To avoid conflict, she let them make decisions for her, canceled her plans to accommodate theirs, and stayed silent when they spoke sharply. "I just want to keep the family together," she told a friend. But instead of unity, her children stopped valuing her. They saw her as someone who'd always comply. Hurt by their dismissiveness at a family event, Margaret decided to act. She started setting boundaries, saying no to last-minute requests, sharing her opinions, and prioritizing her own plans. When her son asked her to drop everything for an errand, she calmly said, "I'm busy today, but I can help later." At first, her children were surprised, but over time, they began to see her as a person with her own life. Their respect grew not because she demanded it, but because she valued herself. To regain respect, stop chasing approval. Set boundaries, prioritize your needs, and speak up, even if they disagree. When you show self-respect, your children will mirror it, and respect will follow naturally. Step 2. Don't argue. Lead by example. When your children dismiss your opinions, interrupt you, or act disrespectfully, your instinct might be to argue. You may want to remind them of your sacrifices or demand they listen. But arguing rarely leads to respect. Think about it: when has a heated debate convinced someone to value you more? Respect is earned through your actions, not your words. Arguing shows your children they can unsettle you emotionally. Responding with anger reinforces their power, making respect harder to regain. Instead, lead by example. Show them what respect looks like through your calm, confident behavior. Frank, a retired teacher in his late 60s, faced this challenge. Known for commanding respect in the classroom, he struggled at home. His adult children ignored his advice, dismissed his concerns, and sometimes mocked him when he offered guidance. Initially, he argued, raising his voice to remind them of his support over the years. But this only made them defensive, widening the gap. Realizing this wasn't working, Frank changed his approach. He listened calmly even when they were dismissive. When interrupted, he'd say, "I'll wait until you're ready to hear me." When they dismissed his opinions, he spoke with quiet confidence, avoiding disputes. His dignity spoke louder than arguments. Over time, his children noticed his strength and composure, and their respect grew. If your children disrespect, you don't argue. Model respect through your actions. Stay calm, maintain your dignity, and respond with grace. Your example will inspire them to follow, even if it takes time. If this resonates, comment number 2 below. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated. Step 3. Release emotional dependence. It's natural to want your children's love and respect, but relying on them for emotional fulfillment can backfire. When they sense you need their validation to feel whole, they may feel burdened, leading to irritation or distance. The more you seek their attention, the less they give. People respect those who are emotionally independent. Depending on your children for happiness creates pressure, causing them to pull away. To regain respect, focus on finding fulfillment within yourself. Helen, a mother in her early 70s, experienced this. After her children started their own families, she felt lonely and called them often hoping for connection. But her frequent calls were met with short, impatient responses as if they were obligations. Feeling isolated, Helen decided to change. She joined a local gardening club, took up painting, and reconnected with friends. She even enrolled in a community theater group, rediscovering a passion from her youth. As she built a fulfilling life, her children noticed. They called to ask about her paintings or theater rehearsals, intrigued by her independence. Their respect grew not from duty, but from admiration for her vibrant life. The less you depend on your children emotionally, the more they'll respect you. Pursue hobbies, friendships, or personal goals. Show them you're strong and fulfilled, and they'll value you as a person, not just a parent. Step 4, set and enforce boundaries. Children lose respect when parents tolerate disrespectful behavior. If you allow dismissive comments, interruptions, or disregard for your feelings, they'll continue not because they're unkind, but because people treat you as you allow. Without boundaries, disrespect becomes the norm. Setting boundaries doesn't mean conflict, it means defining what you'll accept and standing firm. This shows your time and feelings matter. Robert, a retired businessman in his late 60s, faced this issue. His children interrupted him and dismissed his opinions. Initially, he let it slide to avoid fights, thinking it wasn't worth the conflict. But he realized his silence enabled their behavior. So he set boundaries. When interrupted, he said, "I'll speak when you're ready to listen." When dismissed, he replied, "You don't have to agree, but respect me." If they pushed, he limited contact, saying, "We'll talk when you're respectful." At first, they resisted, but over time, they adjusted, respecting his firmness. Ask yourself, are you allowing disrespect? Set clear boundaries and enforce them calmly. When you value yourself, your children will start to value you too. If this helps, comment number 4 below. Subscribe to support our content. Step 5, stop giving without appreciation. Parents often give endlessly time, support, money out of love. But when your generosity is met with entitlement, it erodes respect. Giving without appreciation teaches children your efforts are expected, not valued. This doesn't mean stopping generosity, it means ensuring it's valued. Respect grows when your contributions are seen as gifts, not obligations. George, a father in his 70s, was always there for his children, helping financially and accommodating their needs. But they rarely thanked him, expecting his help. When he needed support, they were too busy. Frustrated, George set limits. He stopped offering help unless asked and said no when necessary. When his daughter requested last-minute babysitting, he declined if he had plans, saying, "I'm not available today, but let's plan ahead." At first, his children were upset, but they soon began appreciating his efforts, saying thank you and planning ahead. His boundaries earned their respect. If your children don't value your kindness, reassess your giving. Set limits and expect appreciation. When they see your efforts as valuable, respect will follow. Step 6, build your own life to regain respect. Show your children your happiness doesn't depend on them. When your life revolves around them, they may feel burdened or see you as lacking purpose. People respect those with their own passions and fulfillment. Eleanor, a widow in her 70s, faced this. After her husband's death, she focused on her children, calling often and offering advice. But this pushed them away, their visits dwindled. Feeling alone, Eleanor rebuilt her life. She joined a book club, traveled with friends, and volunteered at an animal shelter. As she thrived, her children noticed. They called to hear about her adventures, admiring her independence. Their respect grew, seeing her vibrant life. Do your children see you as fulfilled or dependent? Pursue hobbies, friendships, or goals? When they see you thriving, they'll respect you as a person, not just a parent. If this helps, comment number 6 below. Subscribe to stay connected. Final thoughts: regaining your children's respect isn't about demands or arguments. It's about inspiring it through actions. Stop seeking approval, because valuing yourself earns respect. Lead by example, letting dignity speak louder than words. Release emotional dependence, showing strength and independence. Set boundaries to teach respect. Stop giving without appreciation, so your kindness is valued. Build a life of purpose, proving you're more than a parent. These changes will shift how your children see you, not as someone needing validation, but as someone commanding respect. Their respect will return earned through your strength and grace. Thank you for reading. Share one thing you learned and how you'll apply it in the comments. Your thoughts inspire us. Like, subscribe, and share to support our mission. See you soon.